everyone, Owen Korzak here, singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and songwriting teacher. Welcome to the new songwriting video series. We're going to start this off with a video on just where to start as a songwriter. Everybody has their own struggles with this. Mine were actually probably a bit different than most people because I started as an instrumentalist. So that kind of gave me a background as to the musical side of songwriting, and then when it came to writing lyrics, it was like completely from scratch for me. But most people have the opposite problem. They're kind of get into songwriting by starting to come up with lyrical ideas, then they want to add music, but it's like, how do I add it if I don't know how to play an instrument? Like, what can I do? So this video is going to cover the best and fastest approach to adding music onto your lyrics. Or if you just want to start right out of the gate with music, that's also a really effective approach because the musical side of songwriting will take longer to learn, so it's better to start in on it earlier. One of the first questions that tends to come up is, if I don't play an instrument, can I still write music? The answer is yes, you can compose music with like music composition software, but I think a lot of people think that's going to speed things up for them, but really what you want to do is you want to start learning the instrument, but also start composing in the software. That way, both approaches kind of inform each other, and so you'll get the extra kind of speed of having that software to help you out, but you won't be completely lost because when you learn an instrument also, it kind of makes it make more sense. Whatever software you're working with, it's good to have experience in the instrument that it's kind of designed for. As for which softwares to start with, I think GarageBand is a really good one to start with. It's very inexpensive and it caters to pianists, which is a really good way to do it, and I'll talk about that a bit more later. Also, some of my favorite songwriters have used GarageBand in like writing their good songs, so it's not like this lowly thing where it's not going to work. It works great for basic songwriting, and for more advanced stuff it'll take you a long way. Another good one is Guitar Pro. It's designed kind of especially for guitarists, but it will work for pianists as well. But that does lead me into my next point, which is which instrument to actually learn on the side as you're working on the software. So what you want to do is you want to learn a chordal instrument, and the most common choices are piano and guitar. There are other chordal instruments that are perfectly fine for songwriting. If you choose to go do something different, you can write on organ, you can write on ukulele, that's gaining popularity, banjo, certain mallet percussion like vibraphone or marimba, stuff like that. So if you don't like piano or guitar, you have these other options. But going back to the piano and guitar debate, what I usually say is it's a matter of two things. So one thing is the type of music you listen to and what kind of instrumentation that has. For instance, if you listen to like heavier styles of rock and metal, you'll notice that there's really not a lot of piano in there. It's like kind of all guitar. So it just makes sense to learn guitar if you're going to write mostly in those styles, because it's going to be a direct connection to the instrument you want to use. You won't have to like transfer what you're writing onto a different instrument. But what I will say is that for the styles that do use piano in a prominent way, I do recommend piano more, and it's due to the simplicity of the instrument. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I'm just trying to play a simple C major scale, here's how it looks on the piano. I'm literally just going down and up the keys. They're all white keys. Even if I play simple chords, you know, what the piano does is it has kind of a nice crutch built into it, because if you play in the key of C major, or also the key of A minor sometimes has this effect since it's the relative minor, all the notes that would be in tune in like a scale, they're all the white ones, and all the wrong notes are the black ones. So it kind of already sets you up to know what to play. And then from there, all you have to do is you have to learn the notes of the other keys, and then you kind of transfer everything over. Now with guitar, it's complex from the beginning, and let me show you what I mean by that. If I play that same C major scale on the guitar, it looks like this. And the same thing with chords, because all the simple chords, look at my hands, they're really not that simple. You've got all these different positions to learn just to play simple chords. And the other thing I notice, like with my guitar students, is sometimes they have trouble just getting a decent sound out of these chords. So I'll show them how to play a C chord, and they're playing it like it's like, so there's this whole extra learning curve just to get the chords to sound right. Whereas with piano, you can just kind of like bash away, So that's my argument for starting with piano as a songwriter. So now that I've talked about kind of what to do, now I want to talk about other ways to kind of learn about how to write better. So one thing I think every songwriter should do right off the bat is to listen closely to your favorite artists. And really, it's not just like listening casually for fun, although you still might get some insights from that. But what I mean is really kind of trying to analyze what's happening. And that alone will already give you a bunch of insights on things like song form and certain grooves you'll find in your styles, or like the length of songs. And beyond that, for some of the more intricate things you might need to be studying, that gets into the fourth point I wanted to bring up, which is studying basic music theory. What I would recommend is to start is just start searching it online. There's plenty of information on Wikipedia, or you can search certain things. You can start with basic things like, minor scales, major scales, pentatonic scales, learning about the different keys, basic chord progressions that you might want to start with. And then over time, as you get comfortable kind of implementing certain things in your songwriting, you start researching more advanced music theory as you go. And now if you're more of a traditional kind of structured learning type, you could take a class in music theory. With all that being said, the real magic happens when you mix all of these things together. So I'm going to present you with a little plan I can give you guys to get started on this. So first thing is to start listening actively to your favorite music. Start studying it, trying to analyze it, trying to figure out what's going on there. You want to study why you like it, and you want to pay attention to all the details and all the big picture ideas that kind of catch your ear and make you inspired. This is what will formulate your own style. And it's a great way to get started right off the gate. Number 2 is to learn a chordal instrument. So piano and guitar are very popular. Third is to find an inexpensive music software that relates to your instrument and start laying your ideas onto that. And then fourth is to start studying basic music theory. Now the key for fast progress here is it's not that you learn each of these things by itself individually before moving on to the next. It's not that you jump in and randomly learn them all at the same time. What you want to do is you want to just start bringing them in this order that I mentioned. So start with the listening, stick with that for, a week or a month. Start planning to learn a chordal instrument, buy the instrument if you need to, find a teacher if you need to. And then once you've got it, start working on that. And as you're working on that, start researching, music software you can use. And then after getting a couple weeks on the chordal instrument, you'll kind of have a feel of how to use it. Then after a few weeks on the software, actually starting to write your own stuff. During that period of time, think about where you could start studying music theory, whether it's online or directly with a teacher. Once you've got it all happening, continue with everything. I know it sounds like a lot, but It's actually going to speed you up because all these things tie into each other. I also want to leave you with one last thing, a little bonus tip, if you will. And this is something you can start doing right away, is to just research your favorite songwriters. There's plenty of information online on, their backstory, how they created their albums, their process. Wikipedia is a really good source for this stuff. Check out documentaries and interviews of artists where they talk about their songwriting process. Also, some songwriters may already have given some tips or lessons here and there. Be sure to search for those kinds of things. So thank you so much for watching, and if you feel you got value out of this video, feel free to either like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever floats your boat. And also, if you have any ideas for what you want me to cover for future videos, please leave those in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.